What up, fellas? It's your boy Freelancer here today, and what we're going to do today is we're going to do a roundup of October 2020. So this month, there hasn't been like an album that's blown me away or anything, but Savage Mode 2 has definitely grown on me. I always loved the fifth song and Brand New Draco's, but Running grew on me a lot. I loved the way that that vocal snippet was like chopped and incorporated into the beat. That sample was really good. It kind of reminded me of almost like a shadow boxing, but in like a trap style, which was really good and really fresh. And it just grew on me over time. I'll throw Running in there as well. It's a great song. Glock on my Glock on my so Glock on my lap, yeah, Glock on my lap was a good song as well. Um, so Savage Mode 2, yeah, three songs that I love, another song that I think is pretty good. There's a couple of, like most of the album, like I said, was okay, but there are three songs I didn't like, but those now are three songs that I love, and there's another song that I borderline, I'd mention it, Glock on my lap, good song. So yeah, so Savage Mode 2 definitely grew in me. The next album that is definitely an important album, I'd say, just like, something I want to quickly mention is the new Common album, Beautiful Revolution Part 1. Yeah, it's like a weird hybrid album, like a pop funk. It was an interesting listen, kind of. Kind of reminded me of something like Electric Circus or something like that. Which was, not 100% for me, but definitely something that I want to mention. Although I do want to mention this. What Do You Say is a brilliant song. I love that song. I really think that song is a great song. It might not be like a hard-hitting, banger type song, but it's a really good, really great even, like a pop funk song with some good, grooves in there. Common sounded great on it, you know what I mean? So it's just a really good all-round song in my opinion. The next, another thing about the album as well, I feel like Common really sounded really great. Like, I think his lyrics were on point, I think his vocal delivery was on point. My main problem was just the production was way too fluffy for me. And even on What Do You Say, it's a little bit of a pop, it is a poppy, funky type song. But I think it just really worked because, the chorus was infectious and the beat was great and whatnot, right? I really liked there was a Stevie Wonder bar on Courageous that I really liked. That was probably my favorite lyric of the whole album. And yeah, so that album, sure, I'm not really gonna go back to it like that, but I do respect it, and I do, as I'm listening to it, I am thinking, man, Common still sounds really dope, right? And the next artist I'm gonna talk about, Busta Rhymes, right? I can't 100% say the same thing about Busta Rhymes in my opinion. Now, Extinction Level Event 2, which is the Busta Rhymes album. I feel like, and another thing I liked about the Common album when comparing it to this album was that the Common album was only like 9 songs long. It really was like an extended EP or something like that, or an extended play. It doesn't really make much sense actually thinking about saying that, but it felt more like concise, whereas the ELE2 just felt really long-winded, really didn't need to have 22 songs on it really. But I will say this, Deep Thoughts was a dope song, and True Indeed was pretty good as well. So, the Primo track, and I think Deep Thought was produced by Busta Rhymes himself, so I'll give him credit for that. So that album, well, again, I wasn't huge in it from beginning to end, I got 2 pretty good songs off it, Hey man, you're 20 years into the game, 25 plus years into the game, almost about 30 years into the game, actually, now I come to think of it, because it was on a Tribe Called Quest, early stuff. So yeah, so 20, 30 years into the game, 2 dope songs, that's all you really need, really, to me, to further validate your dopeness to me personally. I do think he tried. I just think, his over-the-top animated style maybe doesn't work quite as well when you're in your 50s or late 40s, right? But I will give him credit though. Deep Thoughts, for example, he was a lot more subdued and a lot more, a lot more calm, but it still worked because I felt the beat was great, or just really good beat, and he sounded really good on the beat with his more subdued, restrained vocal delivery, but still got some energy to it, right? And so Deep Thought, best song. True Indeed was a good song too. Next album I want to mention, Black Thought, Streams of 4 Free. wasn't for me really. It was just the production was a bit too like wasn't really that hard hitting to me personally. Staken was cool, the one with Schoolboy Q. That was a decent song, but the rest of the album just wasn't for me personally. Similar thing with the Benny the Butcher album that came out this month, wasn't for me personally. But if you like, J. Cole, people like that, I would recommend those two albums. If you're really big into Davies, J. Cole, people like that, Lupe Fiasco, I would highly recommend Black Thought, Stream of Thought 3. I'd also recommend the Benny the Butcher album. I mentioned the Common album as well, but those two albums in particular are more like, more traditional kind of hip hop type thing. But they just didn't resonate with me personally. Now the next album is the Clipping album, which was a bit of a weird, oddball type album. It's more like experimental hip hop. Now the problem I have with Clipping's music is that I feel like it meanders a lot, or it takes an idea like the alarm clock idea of Clipping 2, and that's the album that I started with Clipping was a Clipping, the one about the eyes in it. Visions of is it Visions of Bodies or whatever? The album that came out this month. I'll say My Name, Enlacing, and there was another one. I think it was those two songs in particular were the highlights of me. They were cool songs, but they're not songs I'm gonna listen to over and over and over again. Most of the album was cool, but it was just a little bit too abstract and it felt a little bit too meandering to me personally. Now that's pretty much wrap up. Oh yeah, the Electronica album wasn't huge on. Sorry, didn't like it at all personally. Whatever. I'm a hater, whatever. You know what I mean. Now, other things happened this month, non-music related. Tory Lanez got arrested, which is good. You shoot women, you shoot anyone, you're a twat. The best thing to do in a bad situation with a partner, it goes to everyone who's ever in a relationship, is just to walk away. That's what you do. You grab your nuts or your pussy or whatever, and you walk away from the relationship, right? That's what you do. You don't fucking shoot them. You don't get into argument. But that's just my opinion on that. Venido Drop put out like a top 55 rappers list, which was a bit questionable to me personally. I know it's his opinion, he's entitled to his opinion, but no DMX, no Cool G Rap, no Redman or Method Man, but he had like Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne, Mia, Freddie Gibbs. I mean, Lil Wayne definitely is influential, but what did Mia, Paper Planes? That's about it, really. That's the only song people go back to when they think of Mia. Let's be honest. Whereas with DMX, his whole first album, Slipping, most of his second album, or at least like a third of it, Cool G Rap, his whole style influence people like Raekwon, like the whole mafioso thing. He really put it on the map with Big Daddy Kane and Chorus in that time frame. Redman and Method Man, I mean, come on, Redman's first four albums were dope to me, and obviously the album with Method Man was dope. Method Man, one of the most interesting voices. Redman had a great sense of humor as well, and Method Man, he had one of the best voices of all time. Takal was a great album, Blackout was a great album, he dope stuff with Redman. So again, it's like, I don't know, I feel it's a bit questionable. Other rappers on my personal list that didn't make the list was Drew the Damager, 50 Cent, and Jadakiss. They're all dope rappers as well, that didn't make the list, and I definitely wouldn't have had, Freddie Gibbs. Like Freddie Gibbs. I mean, I know people like Pinata and the stuff with Madlib and his last album, Alfredo, but again, do people put them in high regard as like a DMX or a Redman album like Muddy Waters or Tikal or I just don't think that's the case personally. But that's just my opinion. Like the video, like it, dislike it if you don't. See you in a bit. Peace.